There are those who say that Brazil is the great country it is because of its roots. Our Indian roots, our slave roots, our Portuguese colonizer roots. But I think, most of all, we owe a lot to the cassava root. Cassava is a large root vegetable which is Brazil's #1 choice for starch. In fact, in lots of parts of Brazil it substitutes rice or potatoes and definitely pasta. There are loads and loads of things you can do with cassava, but I'd like to show you the easiest thing you could possibly do with it, which is to have it as big cassava chips. Start by chopping the ends of the root and use a sturdy potato peeler to remove all the brown skin until the root is totally white. When you think about it, it's not surprising that cassava is so popular in developing countries because the cassava plant grows very easily on anywhere, and an area the size of a football pitch can produce 14 tons of this every year. If you planted rice, you'd only get 3.1 tons a year. Or if you planted wheat, you'd only get 1.8. So cassava is king. After you've peeled the whole cassava, you can cut it in big chunks, like that, and just put it in a bowl of water to wait for you whilst you do some other stuff to go with it. And to give our cassava a little more taste, we're going to use one of these, a studded onion. That's just a small onion in which I've poked some holes with a toothpick, and you can use the holes to stud it with cloves. Drop this into a pan full of water and your cassava bits. To check if your cassava is ready, just poke it with a fork. If it's soft, it's ready. You just drain it and put it on a plate and let it cool down a bit until you can touch it. What you want to do now is gently prise them apart into big chips, and you notice that there's this rope-like stem in the middle which you want to remove, and you'll be left with lovely chunky chips. I'm just going to add them to the basket of my super duper fryer, and we're going to fry them at 190 centigrade until they're nice and brown. While your cassava chips are frying, I'll show you one last trick to make them taste even better. Mix a bit of sugar, salt and cinnamon, and use a pestle to grind them down into a fine mixture. Then drain your chips onto some paper towels and sprinkle the sugar, salt and cinnamon mixture on top. And there you are, delicious deep fried cassava chips, which by the way are very crispy outside and delicious, yummy and hot inside. And when I say hot, they're really hot. For detailed recipes and a guide on where to find Brazilian food and drink ingredients, visit cucabrazuca.com.